What were your experiences in government indoctrination camp? Well, you may not remember your first day. I bet it was something involving saying goodbye to your parents and trying to figure out how you're going to fit in this new cookie cutter world. Right as we get old enough to start exploring this world, we get thrown in a box and told to follow this cookie cutter script. This might work okay for little girls, but for little boys who want to run around and explore the world, not so well. I remember when I was little, I thought I was going to end up ignorant if I didn't have school to teach me. It wasn't until I was in high school that I learned that I would have actually been better off learning what I'm good at, as opposed to trying to follow what someone else thought was good for me. I learned at a pretty young age that I was dyslexic, and this took me quite a while to get good at reading, and actually caused me to struggle in a lot of classes. By the time I was in high school, I kind of just quit paying attention to the teacher and actually started focusing on just doing my homework in class and then going home and reading the book. I had to figure it out on my own. This is pretty much how I made it through engineering school. The American public school system is based off of the Prussian system. This system was put in place in the 19th century in order to make uniform curriculums that were based upon age and standardized teaching for teachers. It was all designed to make a good, compliant, uniformly educated citizenship. It's commonly referred to as the factory system of state control. Stand up, sit down, read, write, do what you're told. You even have a bell to tell you when to do it so you don't have to think. It perfectly transitions you from the classroom to the assembly line. In order to accomplish this obedience, we had to seriously curtail creativity and critical thinking. Schools don't teach you how to think, they teach you what to think. So many people base their worth upon the degree that they've received. Questioning their degree is questioning their entire worth and their existence. Don't expect someone to question the truth when believing a lie is necessary for them to maintain their career. What is a natural child versus a manufactured child? A natural child is creative and free, expressive. They're alive. These traits are all problems when you're trying to make cookie cutter citizens. From an early age, we suppress movement, curiosity, and questioning. Schools focus on things that can easily be quantified, identified, memorized, and regurgitate. These are not skills that lead to lifelong success, but they're skills that are easily quantified and graded and put in a computer. Even within this framework, there are so many skills that could be taught. We don't learn anything about financial literacy or management. We're not taught anything about how to manage our money or invest or even what insurance is. How hard would it be to add a few adulting classes? You should know how to cook a meal. You should know something about nutrition. You should know how to do some basic car mechanics. How about some time management skills? That's great that you can do multivariable calculus, but if you can't even change the tire in your car, we're told that schooling is to get you ready for the workforce. However, they don't teach you anything about writing a resume or having a job interview or networking or corporate culture. As AI continues to take over more of the workload, young employees are going to have additional stresses that their parents never had. You're no longer going to have a career at a company. You're going to end up with gigs or short-time jobs, or maybe if you're lucky, you can stay with a company for a few years. These young employees need skills in stress management and dealing with anxiety and other skills that they're just not going to get in school. Students are expected to live within the civil and legal system with which society is made of. However, we're not taught that in school. We're told ignorance of the law is no excuse, but how are we supposed to know what that law is? You buy your first car, you rent your first apartment, you're being faced with a contract for the first time in your life. Now we're entering the world of AI, and students are getting punished for using AI. However, when they get into the job force, their employers are going to want them to use AI to save money. Never before have we been training students for a world that is no longer going to exist as much as we are today. Not only will they be lacking life skills, but much of what they're learning just isn't going to apply. It's pretty hard to be a wage slave if you can't earn a wage. As we surrender our parenting duties over to the state, we are no longer the ones that instill value into our kids. This has been instilled in parents for so long, they don't even realize it's their job to raise the children. After all, raising children isn't something that's taught in school. At least in the past, we were raising children to become a cog in a machine that actually existed. You could get a job in a factory. You could raise a family. You could buy a house. You could become part of the middle class. Now you're becoming a cog that can easily be replaced by an overseas worker working remotely for a quarter of your wage. And all this time you're being taught to worship a system that put you in this place. You have successfully navigated a system of career, graduation, and then self-blame when it doesn't work out. The system of formal education is new and in many ways culturally bizarre. Traditionally, cultures have cherished the ability of children to adapt and thrive in their society. They use their curiosity and and energy as a strength, not something to be overcome. What do you think about the modern education system? Do you think it prepares students, or do you think it's a detriment? What do you think works well? What do you think is harmful? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear.